So it says, in fact, in the day of your fast, you find pleasure. Look how Yahweh is telling them. You're telling me that you afflicted your souls, that you fasted. However, Yahweh knows that they find pleasure in their fast. They don't do it to purify themselves. They do it because that makes them feel important. That makes them feel like they are closer to the Almighty than the rest of people. So they see other people as less pure. So they end up growing as in the leaven of the Pharisees, as the bread with leaven. They grow but in falsehood, in hypocrisy, because they think that the fast makes them automatically pure without understanding what the real fast is. And that is the problem, and that is the key issue in this chapter. What the real fast is, unlike what people believed it was. So they would do a fast of the flesh, completely carnal, and think that that they were spiritual. So they thought they were spiritual while doing a carnal fast. And that is wrong, of course. So it says, in fact, in the day of your fast, you find pleasure. So don't come and tell me that you were afflicting your souls, because you may look or afflicted, but when people will come to you and say, oh, what is happening? Oh, you fasting. Oh, how holy you are, and all of that, you felt so much pleasure. And that is hypocrisy. That is not understanding the point. That's why Mashiach told us, and we may see it if we have time tonight, that when we fast, we should be looking like nothing is going on differently in our lives. Yourselves, anoint yourself, and your face should look like you all good, so that people won't come and tell you all of the things that people want to be told when they have that face of victim, as well, I call them. So Yahushua said that people fast so that other people may know what they are doing. But when we fast, we actually should do it for the Father. So we should basically hide it from other people, unless, of course, they ask a question, and we shouldn't lie. So we shouldn't lie, but we shouldn't publish it as in, yo, I'm gonna fast. Everybody should know on Facebook, I'm fasting tomorrow, so everybody help me with prayers, for instance. I know that other prayers can work, can help, but that pretty much shows that the point is for everybody to know that you're fasting. So the point is for Yahweh to know what you are doing in the privacy of your life, and then Yahweh will exalt you in public. But if you are seeking the exaltation, the fame, the pleasure that comes from other people saying that you are so special, then you are getting there already your reward. And the fast won't do anything else other than what already did by getting the attention of the people on you, which is what you wanted in the first place. So, and it says, in fact, in the day of your fast, you find pleasure and exploit all your laborers. So Yahweh is starting to explain how hypocrite they were by claiming what they said earlier. We have fasted and you have not seen. We have afflicted our souls and you take no notice. And Yahweh is telling them, don't be lying, because I know that you found pleasure by the way people see you because of your fast. And plus, since you were fasting, you were hungry, you were all angry, and you couldn't control your anger, and you were being all mean to those who serve you, your labor. So let's say, for instance, you are fasting and you have a business, or you don't even need to have a business. I was just trying to put it in context. But if the day that you decide to fast, You may pray in the beginning, and Father Almighty, please help me to purify myself, or purify to get purification through the fast, and to get answer from whatever thing I need to get answered, etc. Whatever you are fasting for. And then after doing that prayer, you go and you cannot control your emotions, and you cannot control the feeling of hunger and the anger that can come with that. And that starts to control you, and then you start treating everybody bad and looking at people in a mean way and offending people. What do you think you're doing? Obviously, that fast is not doing anything. It's actually the cause for something bad, because of that hunger you are being mean or offending, or even coming to offend Yahweh, of course, mainly because supposedly you were fasting because of him. So, in fact, in the day of your fast, you find pleasure and exploit all your labors. Indeed, you fast for strife and debate. You fast for strife and debate. What I was saying, their fast is not spiritual. It's actually evil. Becomes a sin, because they are fasting, and that fast is making them debate and strife and fight. So there is no point in that kind of fast. It's actually bad. And I say that so that we understand that, well, there is evil, there is good, and then there is one in the middle that is dressed as good but is evil inside, as the Pharisees were, as the wolf dressed as a sheep, as Lucifer, who appears as an angel of light. And we need to be clear of this so that we may not get lost in those interpretations. I repeat, there is basically those who reject all truth, but then there are those who use the truth to sell a lie, and there's a lot of people buying. So Yahweh is telling us not to fool ourselves, because you cannot fool Yahweh, and people try to do so. So Yahweh is telling them he knows our hearts. He knows when we do things, why we do them. And there are many things that people do thinking that they are doing right and pleasing Yahweh, and then they are actually sinning through the supposed fulfillment of a commandment. I hope that's clear, because people would think, well, perhaps the fast wasn't right, so it didn't get what let's say they say, I didn't get what I wanted, but I didn't do anything other than not eat for a day. However, Yahweh is telling them, you're not getting what you want, and you're actually doing something bad, so you're offending Yahweh. It would be better not to do that fast if you don't know, or you don't know what you're doing, pretty much. And let me make it clear, is as we read in the letter to the congregation of Laodicea, Yahweh tells them, because they are not cold nor hot, but they are lukewarm, Yahweh will vomit them out of his mouth. And they are lukewarm. That is the point. It is better to be cold or hot. Obviously, it is better to be close to the fire. But from being lukewarm or cold, Yahweh prefers those who are cold, because at least they are sincere, they are honest, they are clear, they are open. However, there are some who claim to be so set apart and claim to follow the Almighty, but they are actually being worse than the others that are cold. So, indeed, you fast for strife and debate. In that case, they shouldn't fast, and that's what I meant. If the fast is going to make you sin, then you should first control yourself before fasting, or fast for a few hours first, and then you extend it to a whole day if you want, and other things. And exploit all your labors. Indeed, you fast for strife and debate, and to strike with the fist of wickedness. So since they had slaves, So in this case, nowadays, let's say you have employees, and that day you're fasting, and you start treating your employees very bad. You don't do any favors. You get angry real fast about little things. There is no point in that fast, because it's actually making you sin. Not the fast, the wrong way of doing it. You will not fast as you do this day. So Yahweh here is prophesying that Yahweh would change everything from the false interpretation that they received by the Malach Halel, known as Lucifer, to the true interpretation that Yahweh meant from the very beginning through his son Yahushua, the truth. Yahweh is telling them, you will not fast anymore like this, because this fast is making you sin. You're fasting in the flesh, in the carnal way. I need you to fast in the spirit, in the right way. That's why Yahushua said in John 4 that Yahweh is seeking for those that will worship him in spirit and truth. Therefore, not in the flesh and lies like the ones that they preach in most pulpits. Indeed, you fast for strife and debate, and to strike with the fist of wickedness. You will not fast as you do this day, to make your voice heard on high. Is it a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his soul? So Yahweh is asking them, actually think about this. Do you think that the fast, the point of it is for you to feel bad? You think that is actually the point? Because that's how people took it. And still, many people take it like that. Is it a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his soul? So there is a fast that Yahweh chose, and there is a fast that the enemy chose to reveal or to give to the people, and people took it as if it were the right way to fulfill the fast. So, is it a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head like a bulrush and to spread out sackcloth and ashes? He's talking about all the physical things that they would perform, because it was all appearances. It was all about what they would dress, what they would wear, what they would throw on themselves, how they would pull some hairs out, stuff like that. That people will look at them and be like, oh, look how spiritual they are. They're seeking the presence of the Almighty. Not understanding the reasons why certain believers in the past would do these things when they were in a spiritual hole pretty much and needed the salvation of the Almighty. Like Job,